Hey, what is up, all you lonely watchers out there? Making a game is a very long process that often requires years of dedication from hundreds of people. Coders, artists, writers, designers, etc. Due to this fact, the initial plan for what a game's supposed to be can be very different from the final product. And one of the most interesting examples of this in the Yokai Watch franchise is Yokai Watch 4. This entry had a bit of a troubled development, and a hard time settling on an identity for itself. This combined with marketing decisions and intervention from Level 5's higher-ups brought us a completely different game. But before we start taking a look at all this cut content, I'd like to point out that a majority of this information came from the cutting room floor, a website full of talented people who break down all the unseen content in your favorite video games. I've linked both of their Yokai Watch 4 pages in the description if you'd like to take a deeper dive for yourself after this video. Now, without further ado, let's take a look at some of the development history and cut content which never made it to Yokai Watch 4. As alluded to in the intro, Yokai Watch 4 had a bit of an identity crisis. While the game was originally meant to exclusively feature the Shadowside characters and timeline as reflected in the game's first logo, the team was later asked to weave the story of the upcoming Yokai Watch Forever Friends movie into the game's narrative. Eventually, the Yokai Watch 2019 reboot anime was brought into the mix as well, for that sweet nostalgia bait and marketability. Say what you will about these decisions, but the game would have been completely different without them. Not only would the game likely be more polished, but the story more streamlined and the medallion filled with more Shadowside-era yokai, since the final game's medallion is mostly made up of original series yokai who were easier to port over during crunch time. In the wake of Yokai Watch 3, Level 5 CEO Akihiro Hino would constantly say during interviews that he wished to revitalize the Yokai Watch franchise to bring both young and old fans back to the series. The April 2018 issue of CoroCoro magazine contained the reveal for Yokai Watch 4, slating its release as being later that same year on the Nintendo Switch. This reveal page, however, exclusively depicted Shadowside characters and yokai. In June, a teaser trailer released confirming that Yokai Keystones would be compatible with the game, as well as the new detail that this game would see the present, Shadowside, and Forever Friends timelines cross over for the first time. The first stage screenshot was also released in July, showing Cole in his school uniform, implying this was originally his default look instead of being unlocked later, as well as the map having some differences, like showing house icons instead of generic blocks, and the nearby park not being detailed. August also saw CoroCoro reveal that the game would allow human characters to fight alongside yokai for the first time. September is when the hype train really started going, as a short playable demo of the game was available at that year's Tokyo Game Show. The demo is a shortened version of the Jinta arc from Chapter 2, and it does present some differences from the final game, with the most notable aspects being the presence of a completely different victory theme, a slightly different layout to future areas, and Nate going through the world door through the elementary school playground instead of at the park, sporting his Yokai Watch 3 attire. The splash screen after completing the demo also shows all the different versions of Jibanyan in the game, plus Rudy and Kuroi Jibanyan, implying that not only would Rudy return as a befriendable yokai or part of the narrative, but that Kuroi yokai were originally going to make their playable debut in this game. This sadly was not the case. October saw CoroCoro confirm that the game had been officially delayed to a spring 2019 release, with no official reason given. One more demo was made playable at the January 2019 World Hobby Fair that follows Nate's story in Chapter 1, sporting his old Yokai Watch 1 and 2 outfit this time. This demo cuts out Katie, the plot point of the Crankakai, moves the world door to the Sacred Tree, and has you fighting Slimamander in front of the temple instead of in the future. All other notable aspects like graphics and locations remain the same as the final game. This was it in terms of teasers and news until the game came out on June 20th, which technically doesn't even meet the spring deadline. While June 20th is the last day of spring in the West, Japan usually draws the line in late May or early June. Oddly enough, the final game has blatant hints at cut yokai before even data mining it. There's a segment of the pre-DLC intro where a bunch of yokai keystones are floating around, with one of them clearly being Shadowside Arachnus, who wasn't added to the game until DLC. In the same scene, you can spot keystones for Shadowside Wiglin, Lucky, and Atsushi Kamamoto, yokai who appear in the Shadowside anime but not the game, even after DLC. This gets even stranger when you consider the fact that no icons, keystones, stats, descriptions, or character models for these yokai have been found in the game outside this intro. Though speaking of, let's take a look at what game files have been uncovered. Firstly, the 8 original series tribe symbols. The charming and shady tribe symbols are used in the final game in Chapter 1, for Jibanyan, Baku, and Hydabat, before being replaced with Shadowside tribe symbols in Chapter 3. This could hint at the original tribe symbols, making it really late into development, considering how they were present in the Shadowside movie via the yokai keystones, but I'm more of the opinion these files were left here just in case. The team knew they would open the game with original series yokai, but didn't know which ones yet or what tribes they would be, so they added them all. I mean, Noko did replace Baku at the World Hobby Fair demo. More interesting though are these icons for keyboard and Xbox controller inputs. While the idea of Yokai Watch 4 being released on PC is exciting, it's more likely Level 5 just imported these alongside the Switch and PlayStation control icons from Ni no Kuni 2, a game which was released on those platforms, and has icons originating from that game in the same folder as these controls. Similarly, Yokai Watch 1 for Nintendo Switch also seems to have leftover screens from Inazuma 11 in its code. There's also a surprising amount of cut characters in the game's code, such as this shopkeeper. The file name for this character art is called YokaNet NPC Shop 01.000. YokaNet is the service Haley uses to deliver items to the player in battle via drone. So the original plan might have been to have the player buy these items for themselves for use in battle instead of being blindly given them. There's also a character icon and keystone for Yamata no Orochi, a puppet of the Overseer in Yokai Watch Forever Friends. It's unclear whether he would be befriendable, a boss, or both, but he would presumably be introduced during the Forever Friends part of the story. Hyaku Menki, by contrast, would have been a completely original character. All we know is that they would have been a boss yokai of the Oni tribe, though when they would have made their appearance in the game's story is unclear. They appear to be some kind of serpent Oni thing with a body made entirely of these masks. The arc also suggests it might have had some sort of shape-shifting properties, which would have been really cool to see. Next up is Momoko, who appears to be a befriendable yokai from the Forever Friends era. They have artwork both sporting a mask and not, but both their keystone and 8-bit icon are maskless. They also must have been the cut yokai with the most amount of work done on them, as they're the only one to have a finished 8-bit sprite animation. And finally, we have the secondary form of McCracken from Yokai Watch 1, both as an icon and as a keystone. This likely would have been a transformation McCracken could take after equipping a key item, similar to how Enma's powered-up forms work in the base game, though this is just speculation, as a matching equip has yet to be found in the game's code. There's also a few unused music tracks left in the game. For example, the theme of Usapion's Invader Mode. Since Usapion never assumes Invader Mode during a cutscene, it never gets used. The item get sound from the 3DS Yokai Watch games is also present, implying this game was originally going to have the same sound design as its predecessors. The original victory theme from both the game's demos is also here, as well as the Rocket Completion fanfare from Yokai Watch 3. It's also likely that the Uptown Springdale map in the game was based on a port of the 3DS version, as there's still collision for roads that lead to downtown Springdale and Breezy Hills, despite there being no other coding for these areas in the final game. This also applied to Blossom Heights before the DLC. And to top it all off, As of today, there has been one unused item discovered in the 2.2.0 update called the Eternal Pendant. The roughly translated description reads, "This pendant is so beautiful that you'll lose track of time admiring it. The delicate details will leave you breathless. It's a 5-star weapon that boosts evasiveness when fighting alone. Unfortunately though, there is no icon for this item, so it's hard to tell what it would have looked like. And that's everything that's been uncovered so far. But it's possible more may be uncovered in the future. Again, I've left both pages in the description if you'd like to take a deeper dive or see if it's been updated since I made this video. While I love Yokai Watch 4 for what it is, it's very exciting to imagine what it could have been. And hey, maybe modders will be able to add this content to the game someday, or be able to attach Downtown Springdale or Breezy Hills to Yokai Watch 4's Uptown Springdale map. Only time will tell. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye, my lonely watchers.